6:00 a.m. I'm standing at my kitchen window, bourbon mug in hand, and what do I see? 30 drunk strangers hammering at my Marina gate with crowbars, while their fearless leader, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, Karen Whitmore, howls like she's auditioning for a slasher movie. "This is common property. I'll have you arrested," she screeches Blonde Bob, bouncing as her yacht party crowd bashes the brand new lock I installed yesterday. The metallic clang of steel on steel slices through the morning like a warning shot, beer bottles bobbing in the water below like pathetic confetti from their all-night bender. The air is thick smells like stale booze vomit and the kind of entitlement that sticks to your skin like coastal fog. Picture it. Karen's waving her phone, threatening to call the cops on the retired Coast Guard engineer who just caught her red-handed right in the middle of running an 8-year, $300,000 scam. The irony is almost beautiful. She's screeching common property at the guy who, as of last night, legally owns the entire marina. And trust me, what happens next makes her meltdown look like the trailer before the real movie. So I gotta ask, what would you do if your HOA dictator tried to steal your retirement paradise? Drop a comment if you've ever tangled with an HOA. Karen, and tell me where you're watching from. Misery loves company, right? My name's Garrett Thompson. And 6 months ago, buying this waterfront townhouse at Pelican Bay Marina Estates felt like hitting the retirement lottery. 25 years in Coast Guard maritime law enforcement, and I thought I'd finally earned my happy ending. Morning coffee watching Osprey hunt a quiet slip for my fishing boat and zero workplace drama. First morning, the salt air's mixing with French roast while an Osprey dive bombs a mullet right off my dock. 24 units each with their own slip wrapped around a private marina. The paperwork says limited common element fancy legalese for shared, but you got your own spot, kind of like having a marked parking space in a condo garage. Enter Karen Whitmore, the neighborhood vampire. Imagine every HOA horror story you've ever read online, stuff it into a bleach blonde bob, add a real estate license and an SUV the size of a shuttle bus, and give her just enough power to be dangerous. She's been president for 8 years, owns 3 rentals in the complex, and her little circle of social climbers votes however she commands. She struts around with a clipboard like it's Thor's hammer, ready to smite anyone who questions her divine right to rule. Her tenants economic hostages, voting whichever way she says or else. Memorial Day weekend, second month in paradise. I wake up to what sounds like Mardi Gras exploded outside my window. Karen's hosting 30-plus people for an overnight yacht party. But it's not just her slip they're using. They've taken over everyone's leaving beer bottles floating like lily pads and treating the dock cleats like urinals. The stench the next morning spilled beer vomit. Seagull crap and salt air hits like a slap. $400 of damage to my dock. Rope burns on my pilings. Accidents happen. Gary, she shrugs, mangling my name on purpose, of course. That's what insurance is for. Sure, Karen. So I file formal complaints, spell out the CCNR violations. Her answer, emergency docking provision, she claims, threatens to fine me for harassment. The board meeting is a joke, squeaky folding chairs, buzzing fluorescent lights, and Karen dismissing 8 legitimate complaints with a wave. Some people just can't adapt to vibrant community living, she announces like she's diagnosing a disease. That night I do what any good Coast Guard engineer does, dig into the legal details. Limited common element means something very specific, especially when it comes to marina rights. Here's where Karen steps on a landmine. 2 weeks later, she launches her Marina Social Enhancement Initiative, basically a permanent party permit to maximize property values by making sure every weekend is spring break. Translation: give up your dock rights or I'll drag you through inspection hell. Anyone who resists, get ready for a full-body compliance review. The taste of adrenaline hits combat mode. This isn't about parties. This is about breaking anyone who stands up to her and looting whatever she can before the music stops. She figures I'm just another retiree who'll fold under pressure, no clue. She just declared war on someone who spent decades taking down smugglers, pirates, and the kind of corrupt officials who make people disappear for asking too many questions. But that's the thing with bullies. They get cocky and they get sloppy. While Karen's planning her next yacht bash, I'm picking through the HOA financial records. Turns out all those emergency fees and maintenance costs have been making some very creative detours. You ever hear of limited common element trust law? Neither had Karen and brother that was about to cost her everything. She hits back hard 3 days after her initiative. Everyone gets a notice about new security enhancements, biometric locks, encrypted access protecting us from transients and criminals. Only the master codes Karen's got them. Her memo sounds like we're living in Mogadishu, not a sleepy Florida Marina. Installation day. Karen's running things like a general. Contractors march in, the lock gleams like a chrome middle finger at anyone who questions her. Only legitimate residents get access, she crows, showing off fobs like she's Vanna White. My access code, though, mysteriously fails every Friday night right when her parties start. Glitch in the system, she says, straight face. Yeah, right. That night, I dust off the old law books. Florida statute says HOAs can't restrict owner access without unanimous consent. Karen doesn't have it. So I install a good old mechanical deadbolt, my own key, my own lock, Coast Guard-style redundancy. Now she can't touch it without proving I've done something wrong, and she's out of luck. Friday rolls around, Karen's party convoys show up. I watch from my deck, bourbon in hand. Her guests strut up, fobs raised, and the system works great until they hit my lock. Karen's face when she realizes worth every penny I ever paid in dues. Garrett, she shrieks, open this gate. I stroll down, calm as can be. Beautiful night, Karen. Happy to open it. Just show me the board resolution authorizing tonight's event. Silence. Her jaw works. Her guests start sweating. No one's getting their Instagram shots tonight. This is harassment, she yells. I'll inspect your unit. Looking forward to it, I smile. My attorney loves HOA inspections. That magic word attorney hits her like a torpedo. Suddenly the party's in the pool. That's when Dolores Tatum shows up, retired paralegal unit 14, usually quiet as a mouse. She hands me a thick manila envelope, 3 years of records. Financial irregularities, procedural violations been collecting since Karen tried to find me for my cat. Jasmine from her garden is in the air, sweet as victory. Monday, Karen's lawyer demands I remove the lock. Tuesday, my maritime attorney fires back. Wednesday, Karen's quiet. By Friday, her parties stop, and the only thing I hear on the water is the osprey. Round 1, Garrett. But Karen isn't done. She comes back like a hurricane, her next move hidden in a 17-page email camouflaged as routine admin updates. She's banning short-term rentals, restricting long-term ones, except surprise, her 3 units get special exemptions. Anyone who opposes her, suddenly their rentals are community threats. I've seen smugglers use the same playbook rig the system sell the exemptions. The board meeting is pure Theater 9 owners show up, not enough for a quorum, but Karen's waving proxy votes like surrender flags. Dolores leans in. Tenant proxies are illegal. I hit record on my phone as Karen steamrolls objections, includes votes from evacuated owners, tenants, anyone she can. Motion carried, she announces. Except, legally, it didn't. My attorney confirms she's violated 6 statutes. Meanwhile, digging into her rental restrictions, I stumble on a money trail that leads straight to embezzlement. 40% of the Marina maintenance fund gone. Invoices for work never done, insurance that doesn't exist, money flowing to companies owned by Karen's relatives. Every crisis, just another payday. I go door to door showing neighbors what's been happening. Turns out people hate being fooled more than they hate confrontation. Show them proof, and even the quietest folks become warriors overnight. Karen fights back with fines, $100 a day for flower pots, doormats, dock bumpers. The best part, Her own units have the same violations. I photograph everything her hypocrisy on display for all to see. My attorney starts assembling a class action. Now the board's asking about liability insurance coverage, their own risk. Karen's foundation crumbling. And when cornered, Karen goes nuclear certified letters, warning of Marina safety crises, demands for $50,000 in new insurance or immediate removal of my lock. Only our carriers never heard of these emergencies. More digging with Dolores, and we find her brother-in-law holds our policy, overcharging us for years, splitting the difference with Karen. $47,000 in fake insurance costs. This isn't HOA shenanigans anymore. This is federal wire fraud. We bring in the FBI. Turns out HOA corruption is so common, there's a whole team for it. Federal agents want 5 years of records. That night, motion lights catch Karen herself attacking my lock with bolt cutters caught on camera from every angle, her BMW plates clear as day. She literally films her own felony. Charges pile up: vandalism, trespassing, destruction of property. Board members flip. The local news picks up the story, and Karen's desperate. She tries to retroactively fix records, blames computer errors. State and IRS investigations start. She calls it midnight, leaves threats. Anonymous letters, public meltdowns in the grocery store, stalking Dolores. Each move adds new charges. But here's where karma delivers the punchline. Digging through old HOA documents, Dolores and I find that the Marina was never HOA property. Every slip individually deeded. The real kicker: the trust that owns it all names me, Garrett Thompson, Coast Guard lifer, as the successor trustee with full authority. Karen has zero legal standing. All those fees, all that presidential power fraud. Now, I'm not just the guy who stood up to the HOA. I'm the legal trustee of the Marina. Every dime Karen took, every restriction she imposed was a crime against every owner here. We can sue for triple damages. Her $300,000 scam just became a $4 million case. The community rallies. Neighbors who never talked are now allies. We hire a legal dream team, a property law shark, a criminal attorney, a forensic accountant. FBI builds a textbook racketeering case. Karen's documentation habits do her in every shell company, every wire transfer. Meanwhile, Karen spirals social media smear campaigns, sabotage, trying to buy off Dolores, who records the whole bribe calls to my pension office, even sugar in my boat engine. Each dirty trick just tightens the noose. Eventually, she tries to dissolve the entire HOA and sell the common property to her developer buddy, needs unanimous consent, and now nobody supports her. When the hammer finally drops, it's surgical court orders, asset seizures, every account and property locked up. FBI, IRS, state attorney, they coordinate like a military op. Media's there for the show. I walk into the community meeting, every seat filled, news cameras rolling. Karen clutches her clipboard, still thinking she's in charge. She opens with the usual song and dance. When she finishes, I take the floor. The projector comes down, 8 years of theft and high-def trust documents in hand. Karen, I say you don't own the Marina, you never did. And you've been stealing from every single one of us. The room erupts. Karen throws her clipboard, shrieks about conspiracies until the FBI reads her rights and slaps on the cuffs. That was the moment everything changed. Neighbors hugged, cried, demanded accountability. Karen's real estate empire liquidated her. License revoked, 3 years in federal prison and 5 years probation, over $500,000 in restitution and penalties. Our Marina finally gets real maintenance, property values soar, and the place turns into the community we always dreamed of. No more tyrants, no more fear. We use the recovered funds for scholarships, environmental restoration, and an annual Freedom from Fraud festival. The story goes viral, becomes a law school case study, triggers reforms across a dozen states. But the real victory: ordinary folks learn that you can beat corruption. That property rights mean something if you stand up together, that justice, real satisfying camera-ready justice, is possible. So tell me, what would you have done? Ever gone toe-to-toe with an HOA? Karen, drop your story below. Let's keep the fire burning. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week, wait till you hear how one grandmother bankrupted a predatory towing company with nothing but a cell phone and small claims court grit. The sweet taste of victory goes best with morning coffee and salt air.